Hello everyone, my name is Karina Melnyk, and I'm going to be speaking to you today about the technology of short-term planning for resolving the problems with high level of uncertainty on an enterprise. To begin, let's first set the common ground on what the planning process is at all. Why is it important for an enterprise? As we know, planning on the enterprise is the process which consists of the following actions: problem statement, setting goals and objectives, creating a program of actions, searching of necessary resources, determination of performers, and analysis of results. According to the objectives of planning, there are two types of planning: long-term and short-term. Long-term planning is used for development of the strategic business plan of the company. In contrast, short-term planning can be useful for solving current problems. Is it possible to plan the actions of the enterprise when all the components of planning are known? Actually, no. Therefore, every head or manager of the enterprise should make decisions in the face of high level of uncertainty. It means forecasting and risk identification. So, forecasting is a decision-making key moment in the management planning of the enterprise. It reduces risks in decision-making and influences making the best decisions on the enterprise. So, the object of the study is a short-term planning process in the face of uncertainty. The subject is a theoretical and methodological tool for solving the forecasting task and assessing the uncertainty in planning decisions. The purpose of this work is to develop short-term planning technology to solve the problems with high level of uncertainty on an enterprise. To achieve the goal, it is necessary to solve the following tasks: develop a model for solving the short-term planning task, choose a short-term forecasting method, develop a method for assessing of possible risks of the short-term planning task, and develop a model for assessing of forecasting results based on possible risks. To achieve comprehensive planning results, first of all, it is necessary to make a forecast. There are many different forecasting methods. Today, companies often use expert methods. Nevertheless, some enterprises need numerical forecast and an assessment of possible risks. For that purpose, managers are using different mathematical approaches. The conducted analytical review of mathematical methods and features of the subject area allows choosing adaptive forecasting methods, known as exponential smoothing models, to solve the problem of short-term forecasting. According to the choice, a model for solving the short-term planning task can be represented as a functional model in IDF0 notation. We can see that the planning task consists of several parts. First, determination of forecast data for the considered business process. Second, analysis and assessment of possible risks that may affect decision-making related to this business process. And the last one, adjustment of forecasting values based on possible risks. Input data for that process are information about considered business process and analysis of external and internal environments. Obtained results can help to create or improve strategy of development of the enterprise. Let's consider planning process in more detailed way. Firstly, manager should analyze the business process. Secondly, he or she should build a time series. The result of the analysis will allow to determine a forecasting model that is more suitable for the current business process. For example, if the time series describes the business process without a trend, then manager should use the Brown model or the weight model. If a seasonal trend is observed, then the Holt-Winters model is more suitable. Risk identification consists in determination of the list of risks that are associated with the considered business process and then assessing them quantitatively by expert methods used in this company. The task of estimation of the forecast data is to evaluate the time series based on the available information, the forecast results, and the assessments of possible risks. The resulting assessment is the basis for the making managerial decisions for the current tasks of the enterprise and for the management planning of the enterprise as a whole. This study proposed to use exponential smoothing models, namely Brown and Weight models. They allow to determine the next values of time series. The main idea of this approach is that the research business process can be represented as a tailored time series. It is used to calculate the forecast data according to the forecast horizon. Proposed models differ from each other to some extent. If an expert has doubts about determining the initial values, then it is necessary to use the weight model, which is a modification of the Brown model. For planning, it is necessary to assess the possible risks as well. So, when manager analyzes a particular business process, he or she has to determine and evaluate a list of risks that may affect the short-term planning. There are different risks. It could be negative, zero, and positive. The next step is a selection of the way how to evaluate the risks. Managers should determine different criteria that are important for an enterprise. For every criterion, it is proposed to choose a particular scale. The scale can have categorical view or number point view. If manager has decided to create comprehensive evaluation of risks, then an assessment matrix or various convolution criteria are used. The calculated results are interpreted depending on the goals. For instance, in this study, each risk is interpreted as a percentage. It allows reducing or increasing the forecast data. When manager uses the adaptive forecasting methods, he or she gets a point forecast. It is the simplest prediction. To solve the short-term planning task with high level of uncertainty, it is not enough to obtain a point forecast. Therefore, in practice, an interval forecast is usually used. Thus, the interval forecast for the values obtained by solving the short-term forecasting task and assessing possible risks can be defined as a confidence interval. So, using of short-term planning technology in the face of high level of uncertainty allows to generate additional information for managerial decisions. Let's consider the developed technology for planning the dynamics of an IT company. To gain a useful forecast information for decision-making according to the proposed technology, the IT company must be stable, operate for at least 10 years on IT market, the company must employ at least 100 people, and offices must be in several countries. Consider one of the main indicators that allows to assess the dynamics of growth and position of the company in the market of IT services. This indicator is the man-hour. It shows the amount of work done by one employee per an hour. This indicator is important for the company because it consists of two parts. The employees can be included into the unbillable inner projects or in the billable client projects. The inner projects are an expense item. So let's look at number of man-hours which customers have paid. To build a forecast for the company's services, it is necessary to analyze data from the previous period. Data describe the man-hours amount of services provided by specialists which were paid by the clients. To produce plans of the company development, it is necessary to obtain data for the next quarter, thus the forecast horizon is 4 months. The results gained in forecast calculation show us the tendencies of reducing the required number of man-hours recently. We can see some differences in Brown and Weight model as well. There are many risks which can influence the obtained forecast. Positive risks are from first to fourth, others are negative. The study proposed the following matrix for numerical risk assessment. It was built based on the terms of the probability of occurrence and the weight coefficients of particular risk. Numerical values of risks were found according to the evaluation metrics. As we remember, some risks are positive, others negatively affect the dynamics of growth of IT services. So, the interval estimate of the predicted value of the number of man-hours was found using the proposed model for assessing or forecasting results. The analysis of the obtained data shows the tendencies of reducing the required number of man-hours. It can be explained, first of all, by the epidemiological situation in the world, as well as mistakes in the management of the company or existing problems with the staff. The gained results can be used by project management executives and managers to develop further behavioral strategies in the IT industry and within the company itself. So, in this research work, the technology of short-term planning for resolving the problems with high level of uncertainty on an enterprise has been proposed. Numerous studies have shown the possibility of using the proposed technology on enterprises to improve the efficiency of management decisions. Thank you for your attention.